Key West address. Give me a Key West address.
We're back.
We're back. And did you miss us? That's a big question.
Welcome to Key West with the Weird GoPro, Sunset with Culver.
And Watson.
And we thank you for watching, and I hope you subscribe. We are both wearing necklaces in honor of Ruth.
RBG?
Yeah, RBG.
Yep.
And these are actually from the same Maasai person that makes them in DC, and that's where she got them.
Wow.
And I got these years ago. So
okay.
This is
well, I wondered, I mean, when you came from my neck, I didn't know what it meant. And I came out with jewelry, so it's like my first marriage. So it was great.
Second marriage.
Second marriage.
It was a problem.
Yeah, that was a problem. That was a problem.
So what we want to talk about is we have an icon special guest today, Joe Weatherby.
Yes.
Which is, if anything has to do with the sea, he's right there.
Good. It's good to know.
I know, but here's the strangest part. We live on a 2x4 Mile Island.
We do.
Okay. Joe's been here 35 years. Mark has been here
20-something.
23. There were two blackouts.
Only, I know. Only the postman knows for sure how long I've been here. And my parole officer. Other than that, I don't know.
So they have never met.
No.
So this is just, this is like a college campus. And when I first moved here, I thought everybody should have a name tag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a Key West name tag.
Yeah.
You're out drinking. Nobody's going to remember you.
No.
And you see him the next day and you go, oh, that's why everybody's called Sweetie, Honey, Muffin.
Well, thank God I came from the South, because that's exactly how I navigate every single
every social.
Yeah, it's pumpkin, darling, honey. It's so good to see you, sweetheart. I mean, it's like your name will come to me eventually, or I'll have to look in your underwear to see what it is. But it's like one of those things. We were talking, though, about how when I moved here, like David Sloan, Mandy Bolin, who we both had both of them on the show, we were all about the same age, and we moved here at about the same time. And now, flash forward all these years later, given what they do and what I do,
or have done,
their parents are so proud of them. Given what they have done with their lives and what I do with mine, you wouldn't think that we would know one another. But I think everybody of a certain demographic, like especially age-wise,
sure,
they all kind of find one another, Well,
and I think one of the funky things that's going on with this whole COVID thing, is we can't socialize that much anymore.
No.
And we're so accustomed to going out by yourself and being independent and being able to go someplace, and you just can't.
No.
I mean, if you do, you have to, there's so many rules and regulations and,
Well, I didn't know this. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, just don't do it now and don't call, because we have our phones turned off. It will do no good. But on Friday now, they've lifted it to where now, as long as you social distance, you don't have to wear a mask everywhere.
Like, that's going to happen. I would make out with a monkey after a bottle of wine. I mean, like, what is wrong with you?
The wind blows the right way, and I'm like, am I putting cologne on? But
I think we've made out.
I'm pretty sure. We haven't. We missed our best shot.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
If you have to tell somebody that they have to wash their hands for 20 seconds... Yeah, I really question your other body parts that need probably 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, like Stanley Steamer come in and take care of these,
And the masks. Oh, come on, man.
I know. It's driving me nuts. But it's getting where people recognize you with masks on.
It's great to look at everybody's eyes, because people now look at you in the eye.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
or they have to know your name.
We have no other
You can't just
choice.
say Sweetie.
Oh, yeah, you can. I do it all the time.
But this is such a small place. When you go to a place like Publix, you look down the aisle and there's somebody there that you really don't like, and you go, whoop.
I was there today. And I mean, great friend of mine, Jen Bayshore, another one that I met when I first moved here.
Yes.
Excuse me. But we were like, I mean, it's like, it's like and I don't know. Grocery shopping gave me anxiety anyway, and now it's like doubly so. I just want to get out. I'm like, I
love to grocery shop.
Oh, I have people that God, I don't want to be in your brain, because that just like drives me.
Nobody wants to be in my brain.
Not that I got an invitation, and I might have something to do that day, but I'm about to say, but
it's a little busy.
Yeah, it's a little busy up in there. Mine's just all full of like, okay, what's next? That's
So no, I think it's such a small place, and I think Key West is really feeling the tremendous pressure of the no socialization.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't go out, you could go out, or you could go to tea dance, or you could go to certain places, and now you have to kind of question what you're doing, make sure you're dressed.
Yeah.
Who you with.
Yeah.
It's just a very strange.
It is, and I'll tell you that for me, since all this started, I have like a bubble. I mean, I think that's kind of the other thing, and that's what I love about the show, because there's people we've had on here that very good friends of mine, and that I haven't really sat down and talked to in so long, and it's because of this. And it's like, we get on here, and it's like, just like time stands still. But I think that's it. I mean, I think everybody's kind of conducted their lives in like a little bubble, and it's like you see the same people. And
well, I think your timing, it's very much, Key West was open and wild and free.
Yeah.
So now you have a timing thing. You have to time this. You have to plan that. So.
Well, and I just had company in town last week, and then we were talking about that. I'm like, that's the first person that really like has come into my bubble that is like, I haven't spent any kind of time.
Sure.
I mean, and it really dictated what we did. I mean, we did the whole. Thankfully, we kind of are of the same kind of mindset in a lot of ways, but it's like we didn't go out and like do a bunch of stuff.
I think everybody's missing the hugs, though. Or you'd be walking down the street and you want to hug somebody, or just
And we talked about this, but have you kissed anybody through a mask yet?
I have.
I have too.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It's a little kinky.
It is. Well, well, yeah, kinky, kinky, odd, I would say. I don't find anything particularly arousing about it.
No, nor do I.
I mean, I don't have a ball in my mouth under here or anything
and
like
that's
that.
a bonus.
Yeah. Couldn't say that last week. But anyway, I digress. But Mom, go, the chicken's burning. So no, but like, I mean, that's like, because for work, I have to wear this like 6 to 8 hours, and everybody else is just like, well, and like, because apparently you can't catch COVID if you're sitting down. If you're standing, all bets are off. And if you're walking, oh my God. But yeah, but people sit down and, and I am so grateful that it's funny, but by the same token, I'm so grateful that because everybody's slowly getting back to work on the island, which is amazing.
Yes.
But
and the place is packed.
Yeah. So I kissed plenty of people through a mask because I can't take it up.
You were going to say a ball.
Ball, mask, whatever. Ball, mask, gag. I mean, come on.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It was his birthday. Who are you to judge me? No, but oh man.
I don't even want to know the rest of that story. Okay. Honestly, I've known you for 25 years.
I know.
No.
I'm really sorry about that last comment.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. And here we're going to go to our roving reporter and one of our producers, Michelle Graham.
Who's probably on a date.
She's on a date.
She's on a date.
Yeah, she's
a dating fool, that one.
Oh, here she is. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, hi there. It's Michelle Marie from Key West, Where the Weird GoPro, just hanging out in Chicago. So, gosh, we have an exciting show tonight. I'm so excited. I've never met Joe Weatherby, but if you have ever been in the Keys, around the Keys, up the Keys, down the Keys, you have heard of him. And I can't wait to hear his stories. If you're a diver, of course, you know about him because of the Vandenberg. So I'm just going to sit back, grab my glass of wine, join Culver and Watson, and turn it over to our foreign correspondent, Mr. Eric Hutchins.
Thank you, Michelle. I am here with my buddy Larry, old friend of Joe Weatherby's. What do you got to say?
Man's a legend.
Total legend. When I met Joe Weatherby, it was on the docks behind the Hilton, and he had this big dream of sinking the world's largest artificial reef. All he had was a stack of papers. That's all he had. Well, 7 years later, you got all these people telling him, oh, Joe, when's the ship going to sink? When's the ship going to sink? Giving him all kinds of grief and shit. And then when it sinks, everyone's his best friend, right? Everyone is his best friend, and they're best friends with Joe. As soon as he's famous, Everyone knows Joe. I knew him when he had a stack of papers.
Hey, my incentive for him to sink it was so I could go dive it with him.
Yeah, big diver. So here's a video from Digital Island Media. Our friends down there are doing a great video work for the sinking of the Vandenberg. I think they won an Emmy Award for it. Here's some of the footage they won an Emmy Award for. Steve Panariello and Chad Newman. Shout out. It's their work. Oh, and Dave Cyrek. Here you go.
Welcome
We're
back to
on.
Key West Where the Weird GoPro, Sunset with Culver, Watson, and our special icon guest, Mr. Joe Weatherby.
Joe Weatherby, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to try very hard to live up to icon special I got since I'm a kid.
Yeah, I got called one of those a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, what are you?
That's
high?
the bus
I mean,
that
like,
used to pick
seriously.
me up. But thank
Short
you.
one.
And by the way, you guys, it's a real honor to be asked to do this with you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And your timing in the time of COVID couldn't be better.
Yeah.
I think it lifts the morale of everybody who watches it.
That's kind
Right.
of what that was
that
our
was the
goal. That was
I
like,
called Mark and I said, "You're doing a show." He's like, "What?" I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah."
she goes, well, no, actually, what she said was, she goes, I have this idea and you're involved and you can't say no. And I'm like, okay, that could mean any wonder of things. And it still doesn't negate the fact that a camera may be involved. But this show came out of that. So
That's a little less polite than what she said.
So I want to just kind of give you a little background on Joe Weatherby. He's been here for 35 years. If anything has to do with the drop of water, he's around it.
Maybe if it's weird, we
If it's weird, well, weird is on top of it. I mean, that kind of goes without saying when you're sitting with us, seated with us.
She's right about that.
And can you just talk about the Vandenberg just for a second, which was?
Well, thank you for asking. And, you know, as a lot of the locals will know, that it took quite a long time to get the ship cleaned and funded and sunk. That said, all those years are very hard. Sitting here, it's hard to remember because we go out diving on it very regularly. And, you know, we talked about what benefits would come from it. And we easily met those thresholds. So
I remember I remember very distinctly where that was all going on. And yeah, it was a very long process. And I remember people were like, well, why are we doing that? And it's kind of like, we need to, you know, it's amazing the artificial reef part of it.
You know, you're. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
You're
It's
so
my
good
job.
at it. Yeah,
I'm a pro.
Great at it.
I really should have like a medal or something.
I'll get you one.
Thank you. So, you know, I don't think people understand that you're Artificial Reef International, which is major, and it goes all over the world. But explain to the average person what it takes to deploy a ship like that.
Yeah.
Well, I would say first, it takes a lot of money. And you figure out how much a lot of money is, and then it takes a lot more money after that. But it takes a community to get it done. And, often I'm the guy they point at, but it really did take people all the way to Washington, D.C., and the whole community helped.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that if the ship sank in the harbor that morning, I was probably going to jail by myself. But maybe
it takes a village until the village burns down.
So the village is doing time. Maybe Bill Verge might have gone as well. But we had a very committed group of people: Sherry Lohr, Chris Norwood, Bob Smith, Joe Ellen Solinger, Bill Verge, and they got it done. The group held together, and we all still talk to each other, which is
great.
That's amazing.
Miracle, right?
Yeah.
Now, talk me through that, because I want to know what the process is to get something like that done. Like, I mean, you said you had to go all the way to Washington, but I mean, first there's the idea. I mean, from infancy, like, I mean, what are kind of the steps?
Well, the idea is not a new one, nor was it ours.
Right.
I think what we did was take what we knew about them, put them all together, and instead of sort of like the Little Rascals, we got to clean out the barn and have a show to get $5 to get Petey out of the dog pound.
Exactly.
That kind of thing wasn't working, right?
Exactly.
It was $8.5 million, and nobody wanted to hear about Petey.
Sure.
So the community and the Tourism Development Council, the city of Key West, the Monroe County, and the various groups around town. Some of them were not big cheerleading fans to begin with,
right?
But everybody helped, and everybody could see that there were environmental benefits and environmental benefits are great, and we need them, and especially now with what's going on in the environment. But that doesn't move a lot of money usually.
Right.
It's heads and beds proposition, the ROI piece. And, we've really delivered on that better than I even thought. And still gets a lot of press, still get a lot of people. And we have, we did that, and I'm working with, as the Marine arm for a company called CRB Environmental out of Miami, who has all the insurance qualifications to properly dispose of. There's nasty stuff on the ship.
Oh, sure.
So we cleaned it up. We got a permit. We raised a lot of money. We got sponsors, and then we blew the bottom out of her, which was awesome.
That would have been like a sight to see. I would have loved to have seen something like that.
And a lot of people did. There was, thousands of boats out there that morning, and it took only, under 2 minutes to sink.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you, is like, how long did it take it to actually?
Not long. Don't get a beer. Don't go to the bed.
If you blink.
Yeah, you blink.
You went down quick.
Wow, that's amazing.
Quick. And so as a result of that, and, after seeing that and the results that we got, ARI, Artificial Reef International, which is the marine arm of the environmental cleanup company, CRB, out of Miami, we've done a whole lot of things since then. We had underwater races, art projects, just all kinds of things.
I have a question for you, because, and this came from Hutch actually, and the question was: what did the World War II vets say to you when you told them
I went to
deploy the boat?
We took my rent money, and we Eric and I flew to a few places, but we were in Kentucky at a reunion. Everybody's 90 years old, and I walked in and I said, "My name's Joe Weatherby, and I'm here to sink your ship." Boo, hiss. That they didn't like it, right?
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of,
you can do that.
but what I said to him was, "Look, guys, I get it, right? Nobody wants their ship sinking on their watch, but here's the choices. We can turn her into a world-class recreation destination, fishing, diving, clean, environmental solution to problems that we're having, or we can ship her to Japan and it can get cut up into razor blades like her sister ship did. And they said in one voice, "Sink that son of a bitch."
We had the same reaction with the Clamagore.
Yeah, we did. And Clamagore was a project that is sort of in limbo. My contract in time, it's a submarine from World War II. And we were going to sink it in Palm Beach. And, it's still sitting where it was. There's no real solution to it, but we have to, if we want to deal with that, which I'm not sure if I want to go through that one again.
Right.
Because the cleanup is massive on it. And you have to make everything go away. There's no wiggle room. And that's a particularly tricky vessel. But like you said, we've done it all over the world. Yeah. And we have a number of the projects are starting up again now. So
I interrupt a lot.
Go.
I'm used to it.
We met.
We met each other. So can you talk about the project you're doing for next September?
Well, there are several, right? We're looking at, we have artificial reef projects underway in Marathon, Isla Mirada, Miami, a couple in the Caribbean, and some others that are farther out, right? Sure. But COVID is, I don't know if I look it or not, but I think I'm covered in dust and cobwebs. So I appreciate you guys for this great excuse for getting out of the house. And the phone's starting to ring again.
Good.
But Vandenberg was good we did underwater racing, and we had an underwater racing league that I thought, in an environment where competitive cupcake decorating was primetime television, we were going to have a show, right? Of course, I was all wrong about that. But
little did you know, like chocolate.
Swing and a miss. But we did very successfully. We did art projects on Vandenberg and other ships all around the world, and we hung the artist took pictures. And then put him in against the green screen with models in his studio, and then we hung them on the ship, and we pulled them off before the ocean tore them apart. And you can see those. The artwork's still in town, and you can see that 7 artist gallery at 213 Simonton.
They're beautiful. I've seen them. Yeah, absolutely stunning.
They're unusual.
Yeah. Very unusual, really fantastic.
I want to ask a question that you may not be able to answer, but you could. What is okay, I know when you sink it, you sink like you sink the Vandenberg.
You're not supposed to say sink, but.
Well, okay.
No, sink's okay. Drop is the one we don't like.
All right, well, I'll never say drop when it comes to a ship. But what is... Because I'm just that knowledgeable.
You're good.
That's why I'm asking probably probably a very stupid question.
No.
But, what is the turnaround? Like, I know when you first sink it, when does is there a year point or whatever where you can start to see like the environment take the development? What's the development?
I understand the question, right? So it's almost like watching your lawn grow.
Yeah.
But we dove on Vandenberg 20 minutes after it sank. It was still bubbling, and there were barracuda on the ship then.
Wow.
The process begins immediately.
That's amazing.
And now 11 years later, if you're to go out and dive on it, it's the metamorphosis. And in the shipyard, in a boatyard, they don't call it metamorphosis.
Right.
They call it scrub that shit off the bottom of my boat.
Right, exactly.
But it's breathtaking. There's millions of animals living out there, and there are more fish than were ever there before.
Wow.
So they build their own biomass. In other words, they grow and just like doing a development. Right. Everything grows. People have kids, and that's how it works.
That's really cool. Because I always wondered about that, because I remember when it actually was happening, and I thought, God, I wonder how long it's going to take before you go out there and it seems like a thing. So it's really great that it would which makes sense that it would start immediately.
Yeah.
Well, and I hang around with a lot of people that are very committed to diving, and we go all the time. So. It's one thing when we're going, what did you see? How many bears in this part of the forest?
Right.
But when people come back, we have people now coming year after year, and they really see them.
Well, it's a real bucket list.
Yeah.
It's a real bucket list trip.
Yeah,
Well, now the other
You know,
question,
people.
we had a lot of help from Andy Newman
Yeah,
and
of
the
course.
TVC, and
Yeah.
everybody heard about it
Yeah.
worldwide. It was well done.
now my other question, sorry, I interrupted too.
Really?
I've learned from the
seriously,
best.
you're getting on my nerves.
So, I mean, like because we're hopefully talking to people who are watching the show that, you know, are learning more things about Key West
Sure.
they didn't know. So if someone wanted to come down here and specifically dive the Vandenberg, are there commercial boats that go out there?
Yeah,
Is it a private?
there are many.
Okay.
There are, you know, some of the dive shops have been around for a long time.
Like Captain Corner,
like Captain's Corner, like Lost Reef Adventures,
Gotcha.
like South
Yeah.
Point, and then there's Captain Hooks. These are the bigger. Also, Robert Trousett's operation up there on Stock Island fins, and then there's a lot of smaller boats that will take you too.
Sure.
Because you know we're all running boats, everybody's got to pay the bills, and
Right,
it's Key
exactly.
West. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But
It's not as cheap as you've heard. So.
yeah,
You're not even close.
yeah, the hammock and the Margaritaville or
Yeah, no.
The people are cheap. The living is expensive.
yeah, right. But it's also in my mind remains that wonderful place. And
Awesome.
I think most folks feel that way
Absolutely.
after they leave here.
Sure.
And we're all been in the service industry for years.
Yeah.
The artwork that you can see has been done by a guy named Andreas Franke, who's an award-winning photographer from Austria. So it's hard to meet Andreas, but the gal over there, Jennifer Badby, that owns that shop, when he's in town, puts on openings and will be happy to show the work.
Awesome.
It's wonderful work. It's really, really special.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so now there are projects in various stages of development underway in our business in Marathon, Alamorada, Miami, and several other places. But those are the ones that are local to us, and the people understand what's in it for them if they work together to get this done. We also did. I work also on the board of directors of the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Ingham Museum, which is the museum ship. It's a very famous and historic ship down here in the harbor.
Yeah.
And we had the Vandenberg Park next to her, and they had the Mohawk there then, but it needed a lot of money. It needed a lot of money to repair the bottom of the Mohawk, which was there with Ingham. And it wasn't possible to raise it. So we took it and sank it off of Fort Myers. And that's also been another environmental and economic home run.
When did you do that?
I think we have
I was going to say, when did you sink the Mohawk? When was that?
2012.
Oh, okay.
I think we have a video we're going to show right now of the Mohawk.
Go ahead.
And
yes, please.
He remembers
let it
it
rock.
well.
If they lay around, they roll over.
We're on. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'm going to ask Joe, what was your first job in New York?
I at one point, I was here throughout the 80s. I had a dive shop, and I got an offer to move to overseas, which I did, and I came back, and I thought I was going to get married. I thought I was going to get married.
How'd that work out?
I've never been married. And
you could contact her through her therapist.
well, what I'm
Or
saying,
Facebook.
I
Joe
thought I was
Weatherby
going to get
page.
married. I don't know if I was thinking at all, but I wound up. I took a job with Dean Witter up in New York, and worked in the World Trade Center, among other places up there. And once you get the sand in the shoes in Key West, it's hard to get it out, right? So I moved back down here to do a project, quit the job. And then the World Trade Center came down. And it's funny because I worked in the building, right? And then years later, I met a woman named Sandra Priest, who is an artist out of Pine Island. And she has 15 8-ton pieces of the World Trade Center.
Wow.
So she contacted me, and I went and met her. And she's, they're made into art pieces, and they're very expensive, but she wanted to donate one to the Firehouse Museum down here.
It's
In
great.
Key West, right up
That's a
the
great
street.
In
cause.
Key West,
Yeah.
which they agreed to do. Rich and Alex over there.
They're fabulous.
Great guys. And so, they're going to accept that. But she wants another one deployed on the Vandenberg. And over the years, we've been putting great big flags on the ship. And so with a piece of the World Trade Center at the Firehouse and a piece on the Vandenberg, and how are we going to get it out there? Don't ask me. I'm a big concept guy. Anyway, we have these things now. And so next September is the 20-year anniversary of this. And, I wouldn't call it a celebration, but a commemoration at the very least.
Yeah.
But it really resonates with me personally because of having worked in there.
Sure.
And I've dealt with over the years all kinds of police, fire, law enforcement, military. They work in the projects.
It's awesome.
So to be able to work together with the artists, the firemen, to do something that memorable, and she likes the idea, and so do I, of having a underwater memorial.
It's pretty cool.
It's
Yeah.
the
It's
only
very
one,
cool.
So so I think it's timely, and it shows. I think it shows proper respect, and I also, I would say that these are going to be white blocks. They're great big 8-ton blocks of concrete.
Wow.
And then they'll be brand new out there, growing over time. And it gets better every year. Like your lawn gets bigger every year. The barnacles come, then the little fish come, and the big fish come to eat them. The little fish come to eat the algae, and the big fish, and the big fish. And pretty soon, you're swimming with 500-pound Goliath grouper, like what's going on out there now.
Wow,
Dolphins.
that's amazing.
The last couple of weeks have been Goliath grouper, dolphins, mantas, sharks. Big animal stuff, exciting stuff,
Awesome.
And now, it used to be when I started diving, it was $5,000 to get in the water with a camera. Now every kid has got a GoPro, and the quality of the video is better.
Sure.
And the young folks can edit too.
Sure.
They know how to do all the Hollywood stuff. So
If you don't know how to work your phone, hand it to a 12-year-old.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I need one around too. My phone is.
I think we
I'll loan one of mine out.
I got $1,000 electronic paperweight when it's supposed to be a phone, right?
I got another potentially dumb question. Because a lot of people, this is like one of those destinations within the United States that you can get to by car, that if you are a diver, you can come down here and you can experience the reef and things like the Vandenberg. What degree of and like I said, don't know, not a diver, not certified, but what degree of difficulty would it be? Like, how far along in your diving experience would you suggest that if you wanted to come dive Vandenberg?
I would suggest advanced divers.
Okay.
Each one of these shops, all these people that help us, they have their own set of rules.
Sure.
But it's deep. The bottom is deep.
Yeah.
So she's 2 football fields long and 10 stories tall. So, you can get into 160 feet at one part, or you can dive it at 50 feet at another part.
Yeah.
And because of that, we can show this experience to the full range of scuba divers.
That's awesome. That's because I know, sometimes people get worked up and they're like, "Oh, I want to go do that," and then they get, "Oh no, you don't have all the,
Well, and what happens is if you're not advanced, you bring a guide with you, hire a guide, and but the end of this summer, it's been gin clear and flat, calm, no current.
Yeah.
So which is easier.
Right.
And then there's days when there's limited visibility and lots of current and heavy seas, which is harder.
Right.
So, and you can't really tell till you get there, or somebody has just been there, right? Till you find out on the radio.
Okay.
Sure.
Like that.
Right. Why don't you talk about your crocodile?
Well,
project?
we're forming up the crocodile project, but I'm not ready to announce that today because we're not ready with some of the.
Then let's switch to your Emmys.
I have 1 Emmy.
That's amazing. That's one more than I have.
Our groups have won Emmys on a number of projects, and they were crews. I don't do all this. It takes a lot of people to do it, and we have some experts that we have done Emmy and other award-winning work. So we won Emmys for 3 projects. We won Emmys for Vandenberg, and we were in the centerfold of National Geographic. It was all very flattering, to tell you the truth. But
awesome.
Some
Which
people,
is great.
yeah, but it was
And
great.
well deserved.
Exactly what I said.
You know what I mean?
If you get accolades for something that's like an amazing feat, to me, something like that from infancy to execution is just such a major feat.
Well, we're proud of what we did.
I'm sure
you should be.
And it's paying big dividend. It's millions of dollars a year even now. So I'm not one that underestimates the potential of success. I did all that. I'm a salesman.
What's a polite way of saying?
We won Emmys for the Mohawk off of Fort Myers, and that was a World War II sub-hunting hero. That ship, another hero ship, and then we did a tugboat up in the Treasure Coast last year. And I got an Emmy for that one, and so it's.
I think I was there.
Yeah, that's right. You worked with us on that one. The Emmy is
not easy to work for. I got news for you.
I'm a motherfucker on a job.
Oh my God!
Well, it's all fun and games till you got to pay people.
Yeah,
then
of
I'm
course.
a prick. But
I get that. I get the land.
No, he does
it's
a
all
great job.
fun and
All
games
right,
till somebody gets an eye like that.
So you got the Emmy for the tug.
Yeah, and I don't leave it on the living room table. It's in my closet where I can see it.
Yeah, right.
and we're proud.
It's right across from your toilet.
No, it's not. We are, but we are not. I think we work together as a team,
right.
And we work to the best advantage of the client and the project, and we've got a good reputation for that. And I think it's well earned, and I think some of the awards are the proof in the pudding.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Congratulations. That was great. And it was great fun.
What have we done lately?
I was pressure washing, and he's screaming at me, "Keep going!" I was like, "Okay."
That was no such thing.
She has these voices in her head sometimes too that take over. So
no, it was really a great experience, and to watch these guys, these young kids, be able to get in and under, and to get all the hazmats out. And
makes my back hurt just thinking.
Yeah, I know, but you don't think about how much hazmats are on the,
Well, we have to protect them all. We can't expose them.
No,
There's a certain way of doing it.
No, and you're a pro at it. So we thank you for coming on the show. We're going to switch over. Can you hand that to me? Just a sec. We're going to switch over to the George Murphy moment.
Okay.
And George Murphy was a raconteur, an actor, a writer, a poet, a lecturer, a teacher, an all-around good guy. Great friend. And so we do this every week in honor of him passing. And you knew him very well.
I did, yes.
We all did. And so today's book is Outlaws by Alan Cody, who is this is his second book. And he lives out on the Hook. And he's been here for a very long time. He's an architect, fireman, Hells Angel, diver, commercial fisherman, treasure hunter. And you can find his book on Amazon.com.
And don't they do it at a local bookstore here as well?
Nope, just Amazon.
Just on Amazon.
Yeah, it just came out. So it just came out. So they're working on it.
Okay, perfect.
And he's quite a character. And we always like he's another, we'll probably have him on at some point. And so we thank you for joining us tonight with Sunset, with Culver.
And Watson, and thank you, Joe Weatherby.
Thank you, Joe Weatherby.
Thank you for having me.
Give me a Key West guest, a tattooed waitress, and a fish that's bigger than the hole in my net. A good bottle of rum, a fine Cuban cigar. Life will take care of the rest. Give me a Key West address.